Welcome to the Predictive Playbook. I am your host, as always, John Ryan, and it is Monday, June 21st, 2021. And for many Philadelphia fans, it is a bleak and dark Monday after that basketball game, I guess is what they played last night. That was just a complete debacle. I'm still searching for the words, and I appreciate the chat room trying to help me come up with some good politically correct words that describe what we saw last night. So for Atlanta, congratulations. They move on to play the Bucks, and that should be a series that will go pretty deep too, I think. So we learned that over the weekend that John Rahm is just one hell of a gentleman, and the way he conducted himself after winning the U.S. Open in that interview, he has a new baby. Essentially new wife, and the way he talked about the $1.6 million that he potentially lost because he tested for COVID in that tournament. After round 3, he was leading by 6 shots, and I just was so impressed with that young man. I was so impressed with that whole PGA Tour as compared to the complete opposite extreme of that thing called the NBA last night. But I have someone coming on the show here, Joe D'Amico, and no better to start the week out with him and to talk about anything he really wants to talk about that I mentioned, but I'm sure he wants to mention the Sixers. And I'll start you with this, Joe. I really kind of am appalled, not a fancy word, just I'm appalled at the way Coach Rivers has been basically throwing Ben Simmons to the wolves. I mean, if he was going to do that, then he could have done that in game 1 and said that, if Simmons doesn't do better, if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't do that, then we're going to lose the series. And now to do it when it doesn't matter is taking a fragile, very talented young man and basically telling the whole city of Philadelphia and their fan base to hate him because he's essentially the reason why they didn't win the series. And that I don't stand for at all. So I'll calm down and let you, give us your take on that whole thing.
Well, John, I think that, first of all, I love starting the week off with you. I really do. I enjoy
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sharing panel time with you. And we have these great angles and these great things we do and these fun conversations. But I want to tell you what Coach Rivers has done, was very uncharacteristic of him. When he was a player, he was a class act. And I will tell you this. Let me put it to everybody out there. I'm going to ask everybody a question. Everybody has at least one person in their family as a blood relative, black sheep of the family, not because he doesn't get it, just because, he's the thief, the criminal, the crazy guy, whatever he is. They just, in Italian we call it disgraziato, the disgrace of the family. But we never, ever let anybody else disgrace our family, including that member, even if he just stole your VCR to go hock it for crack money. You don't badmouth out of the family. And what Rivers has done, I think, maybe he's trying to save his job. I don't know, because this team really should have went a little bit further. But he's showing very little class. And you know what? Ben Simmons, no, he wasn't. He didn't have the best numbers, but he has a bright future. He has an enormous amount of talent, and he is a part of the Philadelphia 76ers future. And you don't want to, badmouth somebody who's, let it go. Let it go. Talk about it in the locker room. Talk about it in closed doors. But no way do you go outside the family ever. If you remember The Godfather 1 when Marlon Brando tells Sonny, don't ever tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking. You don't do it, John. You don't do it. That's in-house stuff. Plus, we all know Ben Simmons' numbers were down. The Knicks had Randall this postseason. Where was he? He wasn't to be sound. I think I saw his face on a milk carton. But you didn't see their team blame everything on Randall. This is a very good team with an enormous amount of talent, a top seed. I will tell you this, though. The Atlanta Hawks are a talented team. The Atlanta Hawks are a well-coached team. I think what Uncle Nate, I like to call him Uncle Nate, has done with this team is just wonderful. This is a team that we didn't really think was going to get as far as they did this year, and they're playing well. What they have done in recent years was win at home. They're a very good home team, but they're winning on the road now, which is something you have to do in the postseason. And I will tell our sports fans this out there. They have to match up with a Milwaukee Bucks team who is not very unsimilar or unlike the Philadelphia 76ers. A couple of big guys up front. And I have seen Milwaukee. I'm going to segue a little bit. I have seen Milwaukee make a lot of mental errors, commit turnovers.
Right.
We saw tension on the court during this past round, when things weren't going their way. Atlanta, let me tell you about Atlanta. Atlanta seems to – I know this is, for some people it's a business. For the fans it's a sport. It's a little bit of both. But Atlanta seems to be enjoying themselves, having fun with themselves, not arguing. I think it's a little looser for Atlanta. You know why? Because we didn't think they'd get this far. So the pressure is on everybody that faces them. Big, big, big angle in the postseason. I think it's going to be a couple of great series.
I think so too.
It's going to be a lot of fun. But, I think that listen, even if it was all Ben Simmons' fault, which it is not, it should have been kept in-house. It should have been kept in-house. This is a guy, you're not trading him. He's not getting traded. He's a big reason why they got this far. And I don't think he's just a fun player. You and I have talked about with Tony Finn and Rob Vino on some of the other shows that there are money players and fun players. Some guys that once they get to the Monday Night Football game, they crap the bed. Sometimes when you get to the postseason, they're not great. When you go step into the batter's box at Yankee Stadium, we see how many very good hitters can't hit because they feel the pressure of Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle in those batter's boxes. And that batter's box, excuse me. But, I think he's a very good player with an enormous amount of talent. And I'm a little upset at Doc Rivers. And I'm a little mixed about it because he was such a class player, Doc Rivers. And he's showing very little class now, which, who knows why people do that, what they do.
Well, that's true, Joe. I've seen him in warm-ups before a game drain 12 of 13 three-pointers from the corner. I've also seen him make 16 in a row from the free throw line. Recently, what happens between that warm-up and the game has to be mental, and that has to be put on the head coach or the shooting instructor or whatever coach there is that should have had this handled a long time ago. God forbid they do trade him, because wherever he goes, he's going to figure this out, and he's going to be a huge player. LeBron James actually had said at one time last year that he could be potentially the heir to him. Now, when somebody like that says something, LeBron just doesn't say things like that.
No.
But it seems like they just threw him under the bus to the point that the poor kid couldn't even do a dunk last night without passing. Like, he was told not to shoot. I'm totally convinced he was told, do not shoot the ball.
Or he's just gun shy, But that's
oh my God.
The head coach. That's again on the head coach. It's the head coach.
100%.
Gel. They've got to gel underneath them. And if they listen, I hate to use the word, but if a cancer occurs, you've got to gut that right away. Otherwise, it spreads.
Yep.
And then and that falls on the head coach. It's all wine and roses when you're winning and you're the number one seed and you go into the postseason. Listen, you want to take the credit for winning. You need to take the pressure for losing. Doc Rivers, that's on you.
Yeah.
This is a very good team, and let me tell you, there's no doubt. Even if one or two guys go or come, as long as it's not Embiid, I think
they'll be fine.
They'll be fine. They're not.
Yep.
Listen, don't cry for me, Argentina. Don't cry for me, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They're a very good team, and they'll be back in the postseason next year.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. I know you want to talk about a Major League Baseball game, and then after that, we'll get to your, how well you've been doing lately and the promotions over at sportsmemo.com. But prior to that, at 8:10 tonight, actually, the Reds are at the Twins. Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have the Cincinnati Reds kind of flying under the radar here in the Central Division of the National League, 35-35 record, and are only 4 games out from the Chicago Cubs. And a very, like I said, very surprising development here with the Cincinnati Reds. Even the Twins have started to recover a little bit after being 15 games under 500. So what is your take on this game, Joe, and who should we bet on?
Well, I will tell you this, and I've had a lot of good fortune giving out free games with you. I think you're my good luck charm. That's the luck of the Irish, John.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Sports fans, Minnesota has certainly underachieved this season. Currently, as John mentioned, they're in 4th place in the AL Central, record of 30-41. I know they've won 4 in a row. I want to look at those 4 games real quick. They won the final, gave them a 3-game series, which they lost the first 2 against the Mariners, who has been very erratic this year. Then a sweep of the lowly Texas Rangers. Let's face it, Texas, we didn't expect too much of them, and they still underachieved so far. Cincinnati, John mentioned a moment ago, they're sitting at 500, 35-35. Only 4 games. Once again, John, you're great, man. Your angles are great. Only 4 games separate 4 teams in the NL Central. It's a very competitive division, just like the AL East. These are right now the 2 most competitive divisions in all of the majors, guys. Yes, they are on a 4-game slide, the Reds are, but they were riding a 13-3 run before falling victim to a 4-game sweep of who? The hands of the very surging, the striding San Diego Padres. The Padres are really, we have a lot of high hopes for them, and I still think you'll see them in the postseason. But the beginning of this year, they had a little problems. They had some problems, meshing and gelling. But they're starting to string together wins. So I don't look at that as, oh, wow, they lost 4 in a row. They lost 4 in a row to a very good team who is starting to stride, who many of us think will be in the postseason and do have a chance at representing the National League for the pennant. Cincinnati owns one of the most dangerous lineups in all of baseball, guys. They're ranked in the top 10 in every major category: team batting average, scoring, OPS, home runs. For sure, this does not bode well for a Minnesota team with one of the worst pitching staffs in the majors. Guys, they ranked 27th, a team ERA of 4.91. John and I were talking before the show, trying to pronounce his name. Hopefully I get it right. I never get it right. Tyler Mahle, 7-2, 3.39. J.A. Happ, 3-3, 6.12. They're scheduled starters here. Guys, the Reds have won Mahle's last 5 starts and are 11-3 overall in his starts in 2021. In his last 7 turns, Happ has gotten plowed for 35 earned runs in just over 30 innings pitched. The Reds are 5-2 the last 7 meetings in the series. Right before we went on, John, I see $14, 15, 16, 17 in that area. I'm laying a short price with Cincinnati here, guys. I'm going to lay the short price with Cincinnati. I do feel it's a winner. I like the fact, not that I like the fact, but the fact that they come off. I think that what reflects in this line is that one team has won 4 in a row, one team has lost 4 in a row. You got to think, when the odds maker, sports fans, if a line is exactly what it should be, it would be very different in all the major sports than what it really is. The odds makers have to take into consideration where the general public is going to go. And the general public, they pick up the newspaper and they say, oh, wow, they've won 4 in a row. They've lost 4 in a row. Look at this. The pitchers basically, blah, 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 blah. Same all right. We got to go here. Guys, Cincinnati Reds for a gift today. They'll get off the schneid. They'll get a big win. And if you follow me here, you will too.
Yeah, and I'll just add that he's 5-0 with a 2.15 ERA over his last 5 starts, and he had 12 strikeouts in his last start, tying a career high. Yeah. So I am with you, buddy, on that one for sure. That is a no-brainer. Now tell us, about some of the stuff that you got going on over sportsmemo.com, because people, you should follow this guy and you should get on his subscriptions, and not just one day. Don't buy somebody for a day and they lose and he's a jerk. We all win, we all lose, but the pros that are on sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com are there for a reason. They're there by invitation only, and it's because they have a proven track record and a proven degree of honesty, fully transparent records. We're not afraid to say, we sucked the tailpipe yesterday, because we know that over time we're gonna do fine. So, Joe, take it away and tell us anything you want to tell us about sportsmemo.com.
Well, John, I got to tell you, since I've joined the Sports Memo family, I've got to tell you the support I'm getting from the entire staff. the big names out there, the staff, the people behind the scenes. I got to tell you, they are unrivaled in this business and in any business, really. But in this business, I've been doing this on websites for 20 years, and I've got to tell you, I just couldn't be happier with the entire staff and the support I get. Last month I put out, we did a $2 Tuesday, and I won the game, but we got so many people because they liked my analysis on the game. They wound up buying a daily package, a weekly package, a monthly, a couple of season packages. Guys, this just over the last few days, 2 major plays I had. 2 major plays. Now, I don't release that many totals in the NBA. It's just not something I do every day. I will tell you, I probably had like 9 totals on the season. Maybe I was 7-2, 8-1. I had my Western Conference total of the month, went over by 20 or 30 points the other day. Yesterday, I had my Western Conference final game of the year, put it up as a 10 start. It came in. We had the Suns. We laid 4. They win by 6. But I want to tell you how great the people at Sportsmemo are. I asked them because I'm very excited about something going on tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what sport. And they allowed me to do a $2 Tuesday tomorrow. And I'm putting up one of my strongest and highest rated plays I've put out since football season. I'm not talking February. I'm talking January. One of the strongest plays. And because I love this situation tomorrow, and I'm going to put it out for $2. I could certainly put it out for $50, $100, and I'll get buys because when Joe D'Amico talks, people listen on a big game. I'm one of the best big game hunters on the planet. This game I love so much that they said, oh, absolutely, Joe, take it away. Today, though, guys, let me tell you what's going on today over at Sportsmemo. 2 big baseball orders. My 21-9 home run play, which are 6-2 the last 8. My interleague game of the week. Guys, I think the interleague for a lot of people is taboo. I have done so well in interleague over the years. I put up a huge interleague play today. Those are both available right now. But tomorrow, guys, if you never play another game, take $2. $2. You can't get a slice of pizza. You can't get a bottle of water for $2 anymore. And get my $2 Tuesday tomorrow. I'm going to tell you now, dip your toe in with that because after that, you're diving into Joe D'Amico head first. I've got so many great things happening, John. The people at Sportsmemo. I've got a special on the rest of the NBA. I got a special on the rest of the Major League Baseball. As you know, one of the highest winning percentages in the world documented baseball season this season. I've got a whole second half, but I can't tell you because I want it to be a surprise. I may have some early bird. Excuse me. Let me try that again. Some early bird. Huge discounts coming up for some sports that might be starting in the next few months. Look for that. But listen, John mentioned a day, a week. Yeah, I am never going to be if I go 5-0 in one day, I'm 100% that day. But I can never be 100% over the course of the season. But when you look at documented records, year in and year out, 17 years, guys, I have more number ones than the Celtics have championships, and I have more top 5s than the Yankees have World Series rings. Guys, year in and year out, season in, season out, I make people money. I do have a bad day. I never avoid a bad day. As a matter of fact, John, I bitch more about a bad day than 10 times as more than I praise a good day because they really stick in your crow. They really do. Listen, me and the other guys over at Sportsmemo, including John. John's on those leaderboards. See, he's the host of the show, and he's got to deal with a big mouth like me or a guy that likes to talk a little bit like Tony Finn. I love Tony. And John doesn't toot his own horn. He doesn't have to. His numbers speak for themselves. Go get John's stuff. Listen, man, he is on fire. He's on the leaderboards. I love him. He's got the luck of the Irish, not just on St. Patrick's Day, but all year round. He's doing great. But listen, the people over at Sportsmemo, you can't do any wrong if you follow any of the handicappers. And listen, there's other things. There's free games. There's columns. There's this. There's that. And the specials they offer, unrivaled. They're a class act.
Boy, that's that. You should be the host now, Joe. That was well done. And I appreciate the compliments. I really do. Later today, we're going to have, I'm going to be back with 2 solo videos. One will be a Major League Baseball angle of the day, and of course the NBA angle of the day, which also appears on Wager Talk, the NBA tip-off show, which is one of my favorite shows to be part of and watch. So if you like a little bit of humor, a little bit of fun, then that's the show for you. And speaking of fun and humor and expertise, Manny's Pub, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Mr. Vito, Mr. Finn, myself, special guests like Joe D'Amico and others from Sportsmemo.com. It's a one-stop show getting the best betting information, in my opinion, on the planet. And it's an honor for me to host that show with so many smart people in the same room. We can only hope that there's more smart people in that Philadelphia 76ers organization moving forward. So we'll leave it at that. I had, by the way, I had the Sixers yesterday. I had the over and the Clippers, so I split. I believe I'm still number 2 last 30 days, but playoffs, the last 4 seasons now, 68% documented. I know it's insane, but it's that luck of the Irish, like Joe says. It's the horseshoe. So I will have a play up tomorrow in the NBA. Make sure you get that. And I have an NHL play I put up early this morning that I just absolutely love. And I'm 67% in the NHL in the playoffs. So, and it's only $9. It's a pint. It's a IPA pint. So if you drink 3 of them after work, drink 2, and you can get the play. And real good research. So with that said, Joe, thank you for being on the show. And take everything he says to heart, because it is the real deal here at sportsmemo.com. So for Joe, myself, sportsmemo.com, and the Predictive Playbook,